Welcome to Next to Madison, a podcast to help you live your best life. Hey, welcome back to another episode of Next to Madison. I'm your host, Madison Malloy, and on today's episode, we are diving into the deep shit. Yep, we are talking about heart activations, killing off your old identity, finding out who you are through numerology or genealogy, whatever it is, and how to actually act from your heart and not your head. This episode is deep. We talk about death, we talk about seeing the other side, and finding out what our absolute true purpose is and how our next guest can help you do that. It's going to be life-changing. Once you figure out your true soul purpose and why you're here, you have figured out the matrix and you can go have fun. So we'll be right back after this brief announcement on Next to Madison. Hi, it's your host, Madison Malloy. For those of you who don't know, I've written and created a powerful collection of books to help you build confidence, shift your mindset, and attract the life you truly want. From Time to Lighten the F Up, to Affirm and Flourish, Color Your Way to Abundance, and more. These aren't just books, they're tools for transformation. Grab a copy now on Amazon or at madisonmalloy.com. Now back to the show. Welcome back. We are with our amazing guest. He is a former executive of Reebok and Adidas, and now he is turned business advisor / executive coach, life coach, all that good stuff. I am fascinated with this character and what he's done with his life and how he's turned it around and how he's really tuned into the mindset. And I had to get him on the show. And now you guys are lucky enough to watch this conversation unfold. So, Chad Wittman, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Well done.
Yeah, well, thank you.
Great introduction. I don't think I've ever had that before.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
So tell us your brief background. I said you're obviously a sports executive. So just give us the brief background, because then we're getting into the real nitty-gritty stuff.
Sure. Yeah, so I'm a father of 5.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so you no sperm issues for you. Got it.
Yep, we're good there. and my wife used to say that her claim to fame was 5 kids, 3 countries in 6 years, which is pretty wild. Yeah. And I worked for Reebok and Adidas, and I went over to Asia. So I used to run the Korea market. Then I opened up the China market, and then they asked to bring everything into one market in Asia Pacific, which I had no idea what I was doing. I just figured it out as I went.
Yeah.
And so then I did all of Asia Pacific before leaving the company at the end of 2020. And I was a former lacrosse player. I played at University of Denver and played in the NLL for a little while. So yeah, a pretty wild ride. And then after I left is when I got slapped in the face with an identity crisis.
So after you left the end of
2020.
You left a stable job, and
and I thought it was going to be amazing. I was like,
what were you leaving for? Exactly?
Well, I had been 14 years with I was really Reebok, but then when you're in the markets, it's both Adidas and Reebok. So I'd been 14 years, and it was just a good number, 7s. I looked at the synchronicities, and I was basically dying on the inside. I was exhausted.
Yeah.
Running all of Asia. I'm like on a plane all the time. My marriage started to struggle. Like my wife's like, "Hey, where are you? When are you going to be back?" And I didn't know another way to do it. So I was looking for somewhere to go. I didn't know where, but I was used to pray about it a lot, and I just kept hearing, hold, which to me meant just like hold the line.
Yeah.
And then we're sitting there during Chinese New Year, January of 2020, and there's this little thing called the Wuhan virus.
Yeah.
Yep. And we got an extra week holiday, and my wife comes back from the gym and she says, "I think God just told us we need to get out of here." And I said, "What? We just got an extra week holiday? I do not want to travel." And she's like, "Can you just get confirmation?" So I took a little walk, and I've got this like sense of yes. And this was on a Monday. We booked flights back to America. Empty flights, $300 a ticket. We went to Santa Barbara because I thought no Baltimore in the middle of winter, which is where we were going. And Tuesday, Trump started canceling flights. Wednesday was like Armageddon, and we got out of there, and I never went back. And I ran Asia for an entire year from Baltimore, Maryland. So I would work in the nights. It was crazy. And then towards the end of that year, I knew it was like, okay, I'm not going back to China. I'm not going to go run another market. I need a break. So I was going to take 2 years off. And I thought it was going to be amazing.
Yeah.
And boy, was I wrong.
Wrong in which sense?
It was not amazing.
Because the pandemic?
No, because I left the brand. So at the end of 2020, we bought a house in Annapolis, Maryland.
Okay.
And I was going to take 2 years off to just, in my mind, in my dreamy mind, I had this idea of like, I've been away out of the house for as long as I can remember. I've always worked. Here I am. I've made some great money. I'm going to spend a year or two figuring out, how to be a father and a husband, and this is going to be great. The mistake I made were many. So first of all, I could not relax. Like I could not just sit down and relax. My mind, just had this constant urge, like I should be doing something. I was filled with meetings and travel all the time, and now it's just like everything stopped. I had no conversation with my wife about so now I'm in the house. Maybe we should talk about role changes. Like I just thought it would be good, right? Like I'd be welcomed into the home. And she had been telling me for decades, you don't see me. You do not have connection to your heart. And I did not understand what she was saying. I used to think, of course I see you. You're right there. And I see that you're suffering. I hear you. But I realized quickly she was right. She was right. So then it kind of all culminated because now I'm in the house and I think everything's going to be great. And I realize, oh crap, this relationship isn't good. I haven't been investing in this. I actually am not connected to my heart. I don't think I actually see her. I think I know what she means now because I'm not understanding what she's saying. And so things started to fall apart. It was tough.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then my kids. So in Asia, I don't know how much you know about running a business over there. They're when you're the boss, you are the boss. And I'm throwing around millions of dollars and I've got a big team. And if I want to open a store over there, I open a store over there.
Yeah.
And I get into the house with 5 kids and they're basically who are you?
Oh.
And so I don't have any authority. I don't have any respect because I haven't earned it. I don't have any income. I don't have any title. I have no power. And I don't know what to do with myself. And and at the time my wife's like, okay, game on. Now we're gonna see if you can do this thing called connect with me and your heart. And so I fell apart. I fell apart at the seams. It was disaster.
So when you say fell apart, you had just a mental breakdown and just...
Yeah, it wasn't quite a mental breakdown. It was this slow process of realizing I don't think I am who I thought I was.
Oh, shit.
I think some of the stuff she had been telling me for a long time is true, and that I was blinded by the success and the authority. And I don't think I'm very honest with myself. I don't think I really understand the way people perceive me. And it was this whole mirror moment where you're like, oh my gosh, I'm not that guy. Then who the hell am I? Because it wasn't just losing the money and all that. It was a recognition that I'm not all these things that I thought I was. And so you basically, you feel naked, exposed. It was horrible. And then you start replaying. I started replaying the way people were actually talking to me and seeing me, and it was humiliating. Not everybody, but people in that time.
Well, give us an example what you mean.
I started to see my selfishness as probably the best way to describe it. I started to say a prayer during that time of, help me see others and see myself. Help me, I used to say, arrest me in the moment when I am acting out of selfishness instead of true love. Because my mission at that point was I thought, I want to become a man who's unshakable, which means no matter what's happening around me, I know who I am and I'm unshakable, and I want to learn about love. And love means unconditional. Yeah.
Right.
So I started getting shown constantly, packing lunches for my kids, packing 5 lunches, and I started to realize I'm performing. Like it's very subtle. These are very subtle nuances because the act looks good. You're packing lunches for your kids. You're up early. Like you're doing all the things. And then I'd be like a moment where I can see myself and I realize I'm doing this so that my kids say, Dad, you're amazing. And that my wife is like, Chad, thank you for doing this. You're like, I'm doing it for recognition instead of love for them. Right?
So how does one know the difference?
Yeah, you got to go inward and like ask the questions and then be willing to be shown. It's like, it's an inward journey. It's you can also ask somebody. I mean, at that point I said to my wife, like, tell me the truth. If something's going on, tell me how you see it. And it sucked. And then I started, then I started really struggling because what happens is you become aware of it. This is a process now I help people with. You become aware of it, but you don't have the tools to change yet.
Yes.
And so you're like, it's terrible because you see yourself for this selfish behavior, even though it's not like malicious. You're not hurting people at that moment, right? I mean, not intentionally, obviously. But you don't know what the other act looks like. Like, what does it look like with love?
Yeah.
And it's a process. It takes like months, sometimes years to figure that out.
You're saying like once somebody gets to a point where they've kind of gone within, but then they start doing things, not expecting recognition or praise, they just do it and they don't care what the outcome is. That's when you've hit that unconditional.
Yeah, you actually, there's a beautiful moment. I've analyzed this so many times. There's this moment you make it to in life where you only know you're there when you are looking backwards. You no longer know it in the moment. You become unconscious to your actions. You've now embodied it. And only in a moment that will happen to you kind of spontaneously where you look back and you realize, I am love right now. Like I'm doing the thing I wanted to do. Maybe not everywhere, but in that thing.
Yeah.
And I always tell people, if you think you made it, you haven't. Just like if you think you've hit rock bottom, because normally there's a fall that comes with this. If you think you hit rock bottom, you have not. It's when you've completely let go and you no longer care whether you're at rock bottom or not. You're just okay with the fall. Then you've made it. And the hard thing is you don't know. It's not a conscious, like I'm there. It's a after the fact. It's after you start to climb out and you realize, oh, that was rock bottom. And it's hard because you have to let go. Think about the letting go process is like...
We try to control everything. That's why we replay the same shit in our minds all the time, thinking we can change the outcome.
Yeah, that's not manifestation.
But the law of detachment is one of my favorite laws.
Yeah. And it's hard. I had a mentor. I normally recommend people get somebody to help you walk through it because it can be really dark.
Yeah.
I've met some people, very few who have done it on their own through tons of contemplation, just hours and hours of contemplation. But you normally have a mentor. I did. I had this older gentleman who came into my life, just offered himself for free to me whenever I needed him on the phone. I'd call him and he was there for me. And then I had another person come, my brother-in-law, who was younger than me, who I had been taking care of for so many years and who was in all these dark spots. All of a sudden, I'm leaning on him and he's like helping me out of a hole. And it was humiliating.
So when you hit what you call rock bottom, what was happening? Were you suicidal? Were you depressed? Well,
before I hit rock bottom, like the fall looked like, oh my gosh, I'm not who I thought I was. Okay, I recognize now my selfish kind of actions. I'm doing this for myself. Okay, now I'm reflecting and playing out that same scenario where I am doing it out of love and I get to see what it looks like in retrospect. But I'm not yet able to do it in the moment. So it's a lot of pain. And during that time is when it gets really painful because it's like failure. That's how it feels.
Yeah.
And I was succeeding at a lot of things in my life before that. So now I'm like failing. And this is where I looked at suicide for the first time. And when I say I looked at suicide, people thought I think when people hear it now, they can't believe it because I was the most unlikely person. But I literally sat there in my office and thought about how to take my own life.
This was after you left corporate?
Yeah, this was during this journey. This was like during that time of like, I'm aware of what I'm doing, but I can't change my behavior. What's wrong with me?
Oh.
Why can't you just get it, Chad?
Yeah.
And I filmed myself that night. It happened 3 times during the whole journey, but I filmed myself and said, I just contemplated suicide for the first time in my life. And I wanted to note it. I wanted to like record this because it was so significant that I couldn't believe that's where I was. And rock bottom came long after that. Like long after. Rock bottom didn't come until, I was angry for a long time. It didn't come until I had gotten to this point where I just accepted that it was okay where I was. If that makes sense. Like, okay. I just accepted like where I'm at is okay. Like, it doesn't matter if I have to fall further. I'm just okay with the process. And that's the unconscious thing, because you don't really realize what's happening. You're just so sick of fighting yourself.
Yeah.
You kind of give up.
So you like surrendered.
Yeah. Yeah.
So now obviously you've hit rock bottom, that you've climbed up, and you are now helping countless people.
Well, yeah, I'm trying. I am always in the process. Like, I've never arrived anywhere, I would say, and I'm learning all the time. But I would say the most important part of my journey was when people came into my life for me to help them, and I was unprepared. And now I've seen this countless times. And so I tell people who I'm coaching, when you think, here's the best sign, you think you're ill-equipped to help somebody. And this is when you're absolutely ready to help somebody. The moment you think, I am not equipped, you start even having that thought.
Yeah.
This means something's stirring in you that you actually are ready. And it happened to me. I had a guy come who was actually going to be homeless that night. And
is this somebody you knew?
No, I had just met him. He was a father on the lacrosse team, and he was going through a really ugly divorce, and he was on his way to rock bottom. And it was just one of those moments where I was like, wow, if I don't help him right now, nobody is. Because he was just in my vicinity. He was there with me. I'd taken him to see some fireworks. I knew he was struggling. And I didn't think I was ready, but in the end, the helping somebody else healed me so much. Yeah. You know, because you start applying, you start to realize, like, whoa, I guess I have learned something. Absolutely. And the process of instilling it in somebody else starts to build it in you. And so now I'm like, I would say I'm on the other side of the flames, because I kind of understand a lot better how this thing called life works. And I'm more like, when I have trouble or trial, it's no longer like, oh crap, what's happening? I try to look at it like, okay, cool. So I got to learn something, right? I'm going to work out. I'm going to CrossFit workout now.
Yeah.
Awesome. I love workouts. So what do I have to learn? And it changes this trial from something's wrong, why did so-and-so do something, to what do I have to learn? What do I get to learn? Because I came here for growth, right? I didn't come here to suffer.
Well, it's true. And you've talked about your rabbit hole of going through near-death experience videos. And
yes.
I love these videos. I think they're fascinating. And every time somebody close to me is going through or experiencing a sick parent or a sick friend or something, and and they're dying, or they die, it's like, you really find comfort in these videos. So, and it's helped them tremendously. But you made a video about like death isn't what it is. So kind of go into that, because everyone's kind of scared of it, the unknown. I mean, I'm a person of faith, but most people are like, well.
Yeah. People are so afraid of death, and it's okay. I understand. I used to be terrified of death, and I didn't know it. My father died in 2004, which was a very profound experience. It was long before any of this, because I was there in the hospital when he was no longer there. And I remember this so clearly, like, whoa, my dad's no longer there. Like, life is so obviously out of him quickly, and he's this cold corpse. And it stuck with me. And it wasn't until more recently in this journey I've been on has lasted about 5 years, that I really started to understand death. And it's an illusion. We know it. Like, so many people, the reason I said it on that one post, I said, if you have any inkling of enlightenment, you know this to be true, because you know it in your soul, whether you've done the research or not, that death is an illusion. And certainly if you've gone down the rabbit hole, or certainly if you've contemplated this for any moment of time, you would understand it's an illusion. So my question to people is, if you know that to be true, then when someone dies, how should you respond? It doesn't mean we don't cry and mourn the death. I'm not saying that. I still sometimes cry because I miss my father, right? But I also still have access to him, and I know the truth. So it's not long that I sit in that place of mourning him, because what's there to mourn? He's actually more alive. I've been on the other side too myself. I got taken over.
Yeah, you got to explain this.
And it's like more real than here. And so once you know that, you're just, I don't get sad when, it might sound messed up. I've told this to a friend.
Well, you've had the blessing of having that experience,
yes,
which I want you to go into. But the people that have not, I mean, I recently had dated a guy, and I knew it wasn't going to work out, because I would say, like, you know, our purpose of our journey is to learn as much as we can and to evolve our souls before we get to go home. He goes, I hope you're right. I hope there is something after this. And I knew at that moment, obviously, we were not a fit. But, like, there's so many people that have such doubt that think that this is it. And it's really, so they're terrified of death.
And I understand. And I cast no judgment on them. Some of the stuff that I've studied and then been shown when I had my experiences was, it's okay. Like it's okay. This might be hard for some people to hear, but in my point of view, it's all okay. The suffering, the horrendous acts
that go on here.
It's everything, from my view at least, happens for a reason. That reason seems to be for our benefit. If you took a macro view, if you were God, and you had access to all of the interactions that were at play, including a death. What I said in my video is, you witness a horrendous death. But if you are on the other side, you get to span out and see all of the amazing things that come after that, or an amazing atrocity. What does it do to people? It opens people's hearts. It brings compassion and empathy. And if, in fact, this life is an illusion, meaning this isn't our real life, then the pain is but temporary. Therefore, it's okay. We take this so seriously. But I believe this is really not the real full game. Like, this is what you said, some sort of a training. It's a beautiful, I don't want to call it a simulation. It's a beautiful life and but it's about love. You learn about this, and you have no appreciation for light or life without the darkness. So if you can't accept both, then you're not accepting the reality of this existence. This existence clearly embodies both. It's written in spades in creation. For a seed to bear fruit, it must die to be born. Trees shed themselves. How do you grow a rose bush? You prune it. That's a nasty process. Like, it's everywhere.
Right. Okay, so you mentioned, how did you get to the other side? Walk us through that.
Well, I had, during this little journey, I had a bunch of different what I would call wild mystical experiences is the best term I have for them.
You weren't doing like mushrooms or anything?
No, I wasn't. I did that in college once, and I had a experience that was memorable. But in this case, no. I did, at one point during this journey, I was taking some THC gummies to go to sleep, and I did notice that they dropped some of those, the frontal cortex factor, and I was able to see and hear a bunch of stuff, which was interesting. But in these experiences, I was not on anything. The ones that I refer to, because I wasn't, when I was on some THC gummies, I don't know if I can trust that. That's not true. I believe I can trust it, but it might nullify it for other people. These other ones, I was just walking around my house, and I'll never forget each time. It's like this warm, engulfing sensation came from behind me, in the back of my neck. And all of a sudden, the way I describe it is the veil's lifted. And the thing that my wife had been telling me for years, that you can't see, all of a sudden I could see. And it still happens from time to time. And in a moment, I can't see you fully right now. In that moment, I dissolve. And all I can see what I would say. I can see into the other person. I can see their true nature, which is normally this like child who's in so much pain, or who's crying out for, do you see me? When I see my kids, it's, Daddy, do you see me? Am I good enough? Am I beautiful? And it breaks me. I saw my wife, and she was scrapping, like trying her best to do life. Yeah. And like all the things you see on the outside don't show this, right? But in these moments where the veil's lifted, I can see people, and it just brings me to tears. I just start bawling. And so I used to then chase it. So after the experience happened the first time, I just started praying, like, please I want to live there, because in that place I can see people, and which means I can love them fully.
Yeah.
But I couldn't control it. And I realized if I walked around like that, I'd just be crying. I think I'd just be crying all the time. Like I'd be a hot mess everywhere I went.
But like, I feel not everyone can do this.
Yeah, I mean,
you had like a special gift.
We do need to talk about something at some point, because later on I did find out that it's part of what I would consider my design, is to have these kinds of experiences, and not everybody is meant to have them. And that blew my mind, because I used to think all of what I was experiencing was available to everybody, and I soon learned that each of us is truly unique, and there are actually designs that we each have, little imprints that are on us when we come into this world in birth.
Yeah.
And there are what I call hidden codes to our existence that are available to us, and they will blow your mind. They will blow your mind. It's your purpose, your destiny, how you function, how you see the world, how the world sees you.
So did you go to somebody that taught you this?
Yeah, I will tell you that, because I will tell you what happened in my other. So I had those mystical experiences.
Okay, so you went over to the other side. So did you see like flowers and
yeah,
Jesus?
I'll tell you. No, so then the next big one I had was another one like this veil lifted, and I was shown, and the best way I can say this is like what people say with near-death experiences. There's no conversation. It's just like an imprint of knowledge happens like all at once. And it's just like, whoa. So I saw what happens in what people call this life review.
Yeah.
And I remember, this might sound a little crazy, I was gripping my wall in a hallway, crying, scraping the wall in pain, because I was being shown the moments that I was missing with my children and my wife and other people that were the moments in between the big moments. So like most of us think about life in these larger moments, like being at the kids' game, or being at the wedding, whatever it is, these big moments. And I was shown like those are fine, but that's not what you're going to see. What you're going to get to see is these moments in between the big moments. The moment where you're too busy and your kid comes and is like, "Hey, Dad, can you look at this thing I made? Look at this piece of art." And you're like, I'm sorry, I'm busy. And still to this day, I do this sometimes, but I know better because I was shown it, and I got to see the pain I was causing everybody. And it sucked. It hurt so freaking bad.
But what a gift that you got to see that.
Yeah.
Many people do not until it's too late.
Yeah. But it was also really painful, because then I'm really realizing that's what matters. So I had to train myself to stop in those moments. It's hard. You have to rewire, like allow yourself to be rewired to move in a flow state, a state where you can be responding to your environment instead of reacting, where you are not going in with a plan, which I still try to do. I don't always succeed, but it's this place where you kind of detach in the moment, and you're doing life, but you're like the observer and the observed, so that you can grab the signal. Because it's there. It's like when you detach, the signal's loud. It's like, it's so obvious. It's like a siren. Like a kid will come through. It's like a siren's going off. You're like, oh, that's what I'm supposed to do. And there's always, it's like you found the end of the rainbow every time. Every time I obey it, and I do the thing I don't want to do in that moment, it's like I found a pot of gold right afterwards. It's like a reward. So what I found was, when I had something I wanted to do, and I was willing to give up my plan, still to this day. Let's just say you want to work on a plan for your next podcast, the guest, and you can't wait to dig into what you're going to talk to them about, And all of a sudden, I mean, you name it, your kid or a friend, somebody comes in, but you've like planned this out. You've like put away time that day. It's all set.
Yeah.
But this distraction comes, what you consider a distraction. That almost inevitably is an opportunity. And what I found is if I'm willing to take care of those things first, the thing I really wanted, it's like a Moses parting the Red Sea. It's like there in a moment that I wouldn't have planned for. And I have all the energy and all the time to go do the thing, and I normally can do it way faster than I could before, because it's like I'm in the state that I'm in the proper flow of life.
So do you think that's why so many people struggle, is because they're actually they're not in flow, they're in resistance?
Yeah, they're planning. It's this illusion that they're actually fully in control of everything in their life. They don't recognize like you're this like co-creator of your life, and in the moment, the best you can be is present.
Okay, so let's talk about people have goals, right?
Yeah.
And you need to have steps and actionable plans to get to the goals. But how do you more quickly reach your goals and still go with the flow without, because I feel like when people say, oh, I have a goal, that control comes in. I have to do X, Y, Z by these dates. I've got to make this happen. I've got to reach out here. And so mainly it is control.
Yeah.
So how do you get to where you are surrendering to reach that goal quicker?
So everybody's different here. This is a bit of a paradoxical answer. One answer is, the best way to do it is, I know the goal, and the goal hopefully came from something deep in my heart, not something in my head. Because if it comes, our minds are great for problem solving and terrible at decision making for our lives. Our hearts, which I'm not sure that you're aware of or your viewers are, full of neurons, and have your heart is the largest electromagnetic force in your body, and it syncs your brain, not the other way around. And now they've shown this, which means when we reference heart, the heart is really a powerful tool, and it's got neurons in it. It's making decisions. It's like this thing that's on its own, basically. So if I always say, find what's in your heart, not in your head, because your head is not what is driving. You don't want your head to drive the ship here. So if you have found something in your heart and it is a goal that you think is worthy of you, then my motto is now I take steps towards it first.
Okay.
So I don't just sit back and wait. However, I have to trust fully that I have no idea truly how I'm going to get there. And I have to be willing to fully let go of any of my expectations of the path in which I need to get there and the timing. So I can put it out there, and I can I can have faith, which is hoping for what I desire deeply, and being certain of what I do not see, which is that God, the universe, is working for my benefit to make it happen. That's as best I can do, and then respond. And the paradox of my answer is, there are also people who are designed very differently, and some of their life lessons are learning how to set a goal and build the process and plan and follow it in detail. And this is where my mind started to get blown away, because I learned I can't just cast principles across all of humanity and expect like love looks one way, life and goal setting looks one way. No. We each need to make sure we understand our unique designs, and we need to understand our unique way of operating in life, and we are different.
How do we find that out?
Well, so this is, you asked an earlier question, part of this journey. I met somebody who introduced me to these systems that I used to think were like black magic. When I was deep in my Christian faith, I thought, I was under the impression that it is the Bible and only the Bible. There's no real truth outside of this. This is a big mistake that I learned. Like, I learned the beautiful paradox, there is not one way. So I do believe Jesus came and showed us the way, and the paradox is Jesus is the way. But the equal and opposite of that is there is not only one way. And this is very hard, because in my opinion, the only truth you will find in life is in the paradox, where you can accept two opposing views, both as true. This is very uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Because nowhere do I see nowhere do I see or have I seen Jesus say, make me into this God that you worship and that you are not worthy of what I'm worthy of, and make a religion out of me. I heard him say, and went deep with him on this, follow me, do as I do as the Father is doing. Greater works than these shall you do. Never worship me and forget that you can be even greater than me. This is what he's showing us. And I made that mistake, and I found outside of the faith, when I was willing to try on these systems that are ancient, that holy crap, there is ancient wisdom, thousands of years old,
Yeah.
that can reveal your unique design. There's a multitude of them, and in my work, we use them all and we blend them together to help get a whole view of a person. Numerology, astrology, which will blow your mind if you go deep into it.
Okay.
You will not believe. It's not like just Gemini and Aries. It's way more than that, and it's controlling most of the programming that's happening around Earth, is what I'm finding. The gene keys, I don't know if you heard of the gene keys.
No.
I Ching, which is an ancient Chinese. Kabbalah, which is an ancient Judaism one. And another one we use is called numerical psychology. And what I am finding is that we live in a sort of matrix. Many things can be explained. Not the full thing. I can't say I've claimed that I've made it and I know but you can find your very unique design, which will answer so many of your burning questions.
Holy.
Like really pretty mind-blowing. And I did it with each one of my kids, and I was like, oh my God.
So are you able to do it if I gave you my birthday? Like give me like
So the caveat is I am not the master. I coach and guide with her help, but I can do a little, yeah. I know enough to be slightly dangerous, but I'm not. I have to caveat.
We're
I'm not
fully vulnerable on Next to Madison. I feel like everybody knows everything. I just put it out there, and then I got no secrets, So it's September 17th.
Okay. So 17. So the thing to think about is the birth date, like the day of your birth, sorry.
So the actual
17,
physical day?
17.
Oh, 17.
No,
It was
17.
a Friday.
It's a 1 and a 7.
Okay.
And you add these two to make one number 8.
Yeah.
17 is one of the hardest numbers to come into this world with. It is.
I'm doing a pretty good job. I'm trying.
It's tough. Well, you seem to be doing great because, and I don't know, we'll see if this resonates with you. So you take those numbers separate first. So 1 is think about 1 as leadership. So it's also, you can also, by the way, do this with country codes. And each country code fully represents the culture of that country. It will blow your mind.
Holy shit.
We live in like a matrix. So 1 is like leadership, me, sunshine, burning bright. Like it's the first thing you would find about yourself is you are shining bright, and a lot is about you. And it's not bad. It's just 1 is more about me. It's about shining bright. It's an energy it's like the sun. It's an energy that can bring life, like the sun does. And it's also an energy that can burn shit down. It's strong. And the 7, right, it's a balance. And the goal of 1 is ultimately to learn how to lead with love and basically servitude. Like that's its goal.
Yeah.
7 is this very spiritual energy and genius mind, fast mind. And I'm sure you have a fast mind because I can tell you do. The shadow state of a 7 is, think about the shape of it. Think about Zorro.
Yeah.
A 7, when a 7 gets hurt, one of their first things, they can cut people out of their life. Just cut you out quickly. And that's one thing they should be careful of, is not to cut people out. The 2 of them together make an 8. And an 8 is somebody, which is like but that's what makes the 8. So you get both of those energies into this 1, which is an 8, which is the energy of like material mastery in this world. It's a very controlling number. It's very business oriented. You think about the lower part of an 8, there's 2 circles in the upper part. The idea of mastering both the spiritual and the material. That's the goal.
Okay.
Bring these 2 together. And an 8 can kind of controlling at times, trying to control all the outcomes, control other people, because it makes them feel safe when everything's in control, and they have to obviously learn how to let go. I don't know. Does any of that resonate with you?
Yeah. So I don't cut people out though.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
I'm usually like kind of forgiving, and I try to talk. I'm definitely not a. I don't
Were
hold
you ever?
grudges.
Were you ever like that? Did you ever cut people?
Not really. I don't hold grudges. I try to. I'm not somebody who like will go to bed angry. I'm like, I will literally hold on and be like, just let's solve this and move on. Life's too short.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah.
Well, the energy of the 8 can be really, really balanced. I don't know what your full date is, and we don't have to do that. But yeah, I would recommend you go in, look at Gene Keys, look at Human Design, or call me, and we'll do a session with the master.
I would love that.
And there's like these body graphs, so you can see your body, the way it's made, like not your physical body, but your makeup. And it's mind-blowing.
So it'll help me get better direction on kind of where I should be going, my purpose. Then I'll be able to kind of look at my goals and see like which ones are really aligned that have a better shot of happening.
Oh,
possibly.
yeah. You'll also understand, you'll stop comparing yourself to others for sure. Even if you don't do that now, you'll have much more clarity on who you are.
And not feel like, because sometimes like I feel like I'm there, but we're never fully there where we're like, okay, we're elevated, we got this, mindset's clear, people are coming to you for advice. But there's still certain areas that like you always kind of, have to work on. And there's areas where, I know things happen in divine timing, but there's still moments that I wake up and like 2 days ago it happened. And I just felt a little blue. And for a moment, I was angry about where I was in my life. Even though I love my life and everything's good, but I wasn't exactly where I wanted to be. I was confused. And at that moment I went into gratitude, but I still had it.
Well, there are transits.
Where I fucked up certain things.
There are cycles. So one of the things that you will find, well, first of all, you'll find God's unique design. What I realized was, whoa, this is just God's design for us. We have access to how he made us specifically and what we came here to do. And it's like you have a weather app, and a GPS.
Yeah.
Okay, so like that feeling you have, we are going through transits that last sometimes a month, sometimes last a year and a half,
right.
And you have access to them, so you know your themes. Like I know exactly my theme, what I'm supposed to be learning right now, what my destiny is right now, and it makes it much easier. Why am I here? Because literally this is part of my life where I'm supposed to start sharing my voice. And so what did I do? I just opened myself up and said, okay, I'm open. You reached out to me.
I did. Yeah. Now tell everybody where they can follow you, because Chad and I met years ago, and then you popped up on my Instagram, and I just started following. He talks a lot about his spirituality and his story, and I just couldn't stop watching it.
Yeah,
and I was just so fascinated. You had such a calming presence about it, and I'm like, most men in your age group, 40s, that's the highest depression rate. That's the highest suicide rate for men. So God is using you for a greater purpose, because you're going to be able to relate to these men that are struggling and that are the highest suicide rate. So God bless you. I mean, what a gift. Because I'm totally enamored by the videos. I can't stop watching them. So enough of me blabbing. Where can they find these videos? You guys got to follow them.
Thank you, Madison.
Unbelievable.
Well, I'll tell you, but the reason why most men have this is, one, they're not connected to their hearts like I wasn't.
Yeah.
And normally in our lives, these cycles I told you about in this 40 zone, life asks you to make a big change. Like me, I had to leave that whole corporate world behind to be willing to go inward and learn about spirituality. It's so hard because the world says, like, what are you doing? You should be working.
Your identity is like, I'm an executive of this, and now all of a sudden you're not.
And it's easier. It's typically a bit easier for a woman. They're a little more comfortable with these energies too. A lot of times these energies for men are trying to soften them, and it's uncomfortable. And so we shouldn't feel uncomfortable, but we're not used to it and we're not prepared for it. So that's why. Where they can find me is activatemyidentity.com. Or
spell that though. It's a little bit of a
different
spelling.
It's ACTIV 8, the number 8, myidentity.com.
Okay, so check that out. And then what's your social handles?
You can find all my social handles at chad.activatemyidentity.com, and all of them are there.
Okay, perfect. But like Instagram, for example, where I always watch his videos.
Yep,
is what,
Instagram, C Wittman 1419.
Okay.
And and
we'll have it linked. So if you guys see it on you can always go to the Instagram pages. We'll have you have the stuff linked. But no, this is amazing. I definitely want to do that. And if you guys are interested as well, obviously reach out to Chad and he can help you with this genealogy, numerology, astrology. Because I need some specific dates around some projects that should be launching. So I think that's where the numerology and astrology could really come in, because you don't want to launch a big project on a bad date or sign a big contract or something.
This is correct.
Yeah.
Actually. Yeah.
So I think this could be very helpful. So yeah, definitely check out. And also, you guys, honestly, from what I've picked up from this is like, if you know somebody, especially a man who's struggling, send those videos. Because I really think this is where you're changing lives.
Yeah.
And I was just so impacted. So thank you so much. I know we've got to wrap up. But so go check out Activate with an 8 your My Identity. Activate My Identity with an 8. And then go follow him. And we will see you guys next time to find out who's next. Hey, your host here, Madison Malloy. Please make sure to subscribe to the show on all podcast platforms, and please rate and review us on iTunes and Spotify. Also, if you have any questions or comments, you can email us at contact@nexttomadison.com. I thank you again for listening. Bye.